Yeah, she's a precious woman. Yes, the one you call on. So beautiful. Oh yeah. Thank God I found you. Yeah. Remember your papa, yeah. Was it you?
Hello? Yeah? Okay.
Is there any sound? I can't see anything. Is there any sound? I can't see anything.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Can you hear me?
I'm a surrender. Tangi ko kanya.
Say that again.
I'm a surrender. Tangi ko kanya.
Yeah, can I sustain? Okay. This session is being streamed to YouTube, and because we understand the shelf life and shelf value, it is important that we also play by YouTube rules, so to speak. I'm hoping that Manta should be able to join and the rest of the team. Amanda, turn on your camera.
Hello, everyone. If you can hear me, please leave a comment in the comment section. We just want to get started. This might be more an introduction to Aquarium Tech Week and just answer some of your pressing questions about the event. So if you can hear us, you can hear us. Let me see an emoji in the comment section. Okay. So this is going to be very, very interactive. We were hoping to host the incredible Hackh teaching tech skills. That's for sales. We're talking a lot about technology, but people don't talk about the selling part of things. People don't talk about the selling part of things. So for every business, even tech, it involves selling. But today, before Ima joins us, we just want to answer your pressing questions about Aquarium Tech Week, what to expect. Ask us anything, and I'm going to just take us through what is going to be a power packed for everyone. So we have the instructor himself in the house. So some of you are very familiar with him. Just give him some emojis in the comment section. So we have Hanson Johnson, also president of Igbo Innovation. So let's give him some emojis also just to welcome them to this session. I especially want to thank all our volunteers that are on this call. You are part of the powerhouse behind everything that we're doing, and we appreciate you. So thank you for joining, Abel. Thank you, Mercy. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, everyone. Richard, I can see you here. Katatunchi, Emejong, just as patience is there, just giving a shout out to everyone who has joined. Peter Itowo, just thank you, everyone, for joining and being here on time and spreading the gospel of what we're doing with Aquarium Tech Week. So, back to just an overview of the event. The event starts the last week of October. So we're looking at Monday, October 28th for arrivals. We expect to see you, see your family members, see people who are coming in just for Aquarium Tech Week. So Monday is for arrivals. Then Tuesday, I don't know if I'll tell you more about this or I'll allow the instructors share about Tuesday, but Tuesday is strictly by invitation and also is you have to be strictly on time. So we have people who are so interested in Aquarium culture. A lot of us might have missed certain things. So who here has attended a traditional wedding recently? So let me see the comments. So we want to, yeah, if you've attended a traditional wedding, an Aquarium traditional wedding just recently, if you have, a lot of our guests and people outside of Aquarium State have not. So we want to take them through the interesting process of how an Aquarium traditional wedding is done, even from the youths blocking the road. So we need some volunteers there. If you know that you're going to block the road and collect your passage before they come into the event. We need people like that. So this is going to be live action. We're even looking for beautiful models. If you want to do practice wedding, this is the perfect time. If you're a beautiful person, you want to be the bride or groom, the instructor will give you more information about that. But we were taking our guests through how it is to attend an Aquarium traditional wedding, talking about the culture, talking about the little things. Even there might be some drama there as well. And the venue for this is at the Unity Museum. But like I mentioned, it's strictly by invitation or strictly by reservation. The link will be out shortly, so you have to fastest finger first because there are only few slots that will be open for that. So it's majorly for our visitors to experience and enjoy the things that the state has to offer. Before the evening of this cultural night, we're going to be having the grand finale for the innovation challenges. I'm so happy that we have Hanson here. Maybe Hanson will talk more about the innovation challenges, meaning that if you've had such a great idea of things to do, maybe in the aviation sector, maybe even just something you are currently building, and you want a platform to showcase this and support to bring this to life, this is the show for you. We're also going to be accepting applications in the coming week. So all just stay tuned with all our channels. I will just allow Hanson to speak a bit more on innovation challenges, and then afterwards, I just tell us a bit more about the cultural night before we talk about the other parts of the event. Hanson, are you able to speak? Let me see. So we have our technical people. If you want to bring him up on stage, just so he can share a bit more about our innovation challenges before ID takes the stage. Okay. ID, do you want to take over? Just tell us a bit more about the cultural aspects of the Tech Week.
All right, can you hear me? Can you hear me? All right, so the cultural aspects of the Tech Week, I think you've already said a lot about it. But just to mention that because of what they told us in school, that culture is the people's way of life. And in most cases, we are actually living our culture, but lose sight of the fact that there are a couple of distinguishing factors or elements of a people's culture that set us apart from other people. If you live outside of Akwa Ibom State or outside of the region, you hear a lot of people talk about Akwa Ibom wedding or even talk about the Igbo wedding. I think we have a couple of similarities, except for the fact that you find drama at certain stages. For example, when you are going to meet into your wife's family as a suitor, on the day of the traditional marriage, you find a couple of drama here and there, youths blocking the road. There will always be the first set of people you meet on your way in. They are like by natural setting, they are the first people you meet on the outskirts. Sometimes it used to be as far as you just entering the city's outpost, but nowadays they bring it a bit closer to the house. So they block the road, they collect biscuits, cigarettes, what else? Maybe snuff or anything, but all of these things are what makes our culture rich. And then there's a couple of bargain and bargain hunting going on there. The members of the suitor's family would have to bargain their way through in order to get to the point that they would have access to the woman they want to marry. So we want to show this to our visitors just to get them immersed. And this is to show them that maybe before they leave the place they would have understood a lot better. And for those of them that came single, they might really just return engaged because they would have had access to that aspect of the culture. And then we move, by the time they are able to have access, there is the part of the traditional wedding that is very important, and without it, that hospitality is not considered complete, which is the Udia Ibene. Udia Ibene is the food that is prepared for the visitor. And in the traditional marriage setting, it's always served. Once you enter, it is served first. And for the visitors, members of the visiting family, that is part of the experience that would be shown during the culture night. Then once they are settled, then the party starts in earnest. And then when you move into the part B of the party, then you have a dance drama that shows the history of migration. Of course, everyone is a migrant, depending on, and this was first used when we launched the Boom Heritage, and we had a session on Arise TV, and that was very clear that everyone is a migrant, depending on where you were born, right? So, for those of us that do not understand the story of the Ibom people, so part of us migrated from Cameroon to Aruchuku. From Aruchuku, there was a war, Aro Igbo War, that sacked the Ibibios, the Ibom people from Aruchuku, and then they got relocated to where we are currently. But history shows that, and even cultural practices of coronation of some royalties, that those things are not complete if they do not visit somewhere in Aruchuku in Abia State, right?
Can we still hear? Okay, so one of the great things about technology is that our the instructor was able to join us live from a village in Akwa Ibom State. So we will have to be appreciative about how far internet access has gone, even across Akwa Ibom and in our rural communities. So thank you everyone. So Heidi was just talking about the cultural things and what to expect, and that's so exciting to me. And really looking forward to it. I don't think there's any conference that captures technology and culture the way that we're going to do so with Akwa Ibom Tech Week. Really, really looking forward to that. And then now, talking about the main day, which is the main conference on Wednesday, October 30. So Wednesday, October 30 is the main conference day that is going to be at Ibom Icon and Golf Resort. I think we're all familiar with that venue. We're expecting to host at least 1,500 people. So that means come one, come all. It is free to attend our event. If you want to attend as a VIP, we have the VIP tracks, which gives you some additional perks and benefits, but mainly our events are open to all. So basically, let people not be worried about coming. Yes, we're maintaining a very high, will I say, very high quality event, but definitely open to everyone. So don't be afraid when we're talking about all these things and they seem so fancy. It's open to all. I'm going to just drop the registration link now. If you haven't registered for this event, please register. You can register for free. You can register to attend even as a VIP. So we're going to be at Ibom Icon on Wednesday. So come one, come all. If you have a community or an association where you're a leader and you're able to have at least 50 people, we are able to organize logistics or accommodation from a muster point. So if you're someone that is a leader of an organization, a school committee, if there's maybe like a department in school where you're a department leader, um, I think that you should take advantage of this. If you're able to have 20 to maximum 50 attendees coming from your location, we're able to organize logistics directly for the event. So please get in touch with us. I'm also going to put in the email address just if you have groups that you want to attend and you want logistic support for those people. So that's what I'm sharing with you guys in the chat box right now. So if you have that, please get in touch with us. And then the next day, which is Thursday, we're having a youth focused event, meaning this event is for you if you're a young person that's trying to level up in your career. So this is going to be the career fair and creative showcase. What I find so exciting about this is because this event is targeted at helping you find not just remote jobs, but go up in your career, increase your earnings, let you know what are the options out there? How can you be leveraging on the skills that you already have? We have some great sponsors who are coming there. We have Annie Ekanem, which you listened to some weeks ago about getting remote jobs. He and his team will be live at the Career Fair and Creative Showcase. So if you had some questions from his session, I think you should come in blast and fully engaged because he will be there in person all the way from America. We also have the likes of Leave Career Services. Leave Career Services, if you go on our page, we've opened up opportunities for you for them to review your resumes. If you've been applying for jobs constantly and you haven't gotten feedback, it might be because there are things that you need to change about your CV, and they're doing this for free. They'll also be live at the career fair. So we have so many people who are coming in. We have an organization called Sport. They are also gathering tech skills and tech talents to plug you into opportunities. You don't want to miss that. But just for our guests here, I know a lot of people want to help in some way or the other or support our events. I'd like to let you know that we're looking for local performers at the Career Fair Creative Showcase. So if you're a content creator, if you are someone who is in the music scene, we're able to give you a spotlight where you can entertain some of our guests. Again, use the email address techweek@ibominnovation.ng. So it's a career fair and creative showcase. So if you know that you have something that will be entertaining and that will fit in our audience of young people in Akwa Ibom, you should please send us an email so that you can be part of this event. And then on Friday is our ecosystem hub tours. We like to go around the innovation centers in the five home states, take people around to your favorite hubs, Start Innovation, Root Hub, Code Camp, even Future Labs in Ikotekone. So we will not discriminate. We'll be taking our guests to visit all the hubs where you can even talk more and share more about the interesting things that you are building in Akwa Ibom. So, last but not the least, Google Developer Fest. So, if you've attended the last one, you don't want to miss this. It will be power packed. I'm calling for you to invite as many people as possible to Akwa Ibom Tech Week. So, people will say, why Akwa Ibom? That's something that constantly we're having to answer. People are saying, who are these people in Akwa Ibom? Do you people really have the numbers? So now I'm inviting you to come out en masse to attend our event. Let's show the world what is happening in Akwa Ibom. Let's show the world the people that are there doing great things from Akwa Ibom. This could be a platform for bigger opportunities, but we call you to join us, not just as a bystander, but actively participating and showcasing yourself for Akwa Ibom Tech Week. So I've dropped our email, I've dropped our website for free registration, and then now just I'll give a few minutes if you have any questions. Please let's have your questions right now. How can you be a part of this? Beyond volunteering, how can you showcase your skills? How can you showcase your ideas? So we're here for you. Drop any of your questions. We're able to answer them right away. On this call, we have a lot of people that are helping with the technical side of things. Just want to say thank you so much to Ofon. Ofon is managing comms for Igbo Innovation Network and Akwa Ibom Tech Week. Again, I'm mentioning this here because if you have interest in communications, we have a lot of people here who could help guide you to get started in your career. So I would pause for any questions, and if not, please follow us across all our social media channels. We're Ibom Tech Week everywhere. We're on Instagram, we're on Twitter, and we are also even on Facebook. So you can find us, share, and we'd love to talk more. We'd love to talk more and connect with you guys. So I'm going to just be quiet for 2 minutes. Let's get your questions, and then we might not have Ima on this call, but definitely stay tuned. We might be sharing some slides or some information about the topic she was supposed to present on. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us this Saturday morning. Yeah, so we've gotten a question from Emma Jung. Is there a particular age range that the Tech Week is mainly for? I would say that we will open it up from the secondary schools right down to, you know, it's open to everyone. So we have a whole week lineup of activities. So there are particular events that might appeal more to certain people than others. So, for instance, the younger crowd, that secondary school, people who are, they're young in their careers as well. The career fair is the best event to attend if you are that sort of person. So it means that we're able to take on questions, and that's more interactive. It's not really going to be a conference where you sit and listen, but one where you can engage people and get feedback on the spot. So that's for the younger crowd. So in terms of the innovation challenges as well, if you are someone, we're not going to discriminate. We've seen that very young people are able to create things. So we don't want to put an age range for the innovation challenge finale. Can non-techies attend? Yes. Non-techies are definitely welcome to attend the sessions. And what we're trying to push here is the spirit of innovation and just building and growing something. So you don't really have to be in tech to be able to create innovation. You can be someone who is great at marketing. You can be someone who is a writer. You can be someone who is in the arts. Like I've mentioned, a cultural event. This is being powered by a lot of people in the art space. We've opened it up for to even hear some of your creative performances at the career fair and creative showcase. So this is not just about tech. People are making a difference across several sectors, and we want to be able to celebrate them. Okay. More questions. We're very happy to address any of your concerns. Again, I'll just have to emphasize that this event is free to attend. We got a lot of testimonials from last year for how people had benefited from attending the event, and we want to even do more this year. So, just a few more questions before we call it a day. So, if you have any questions, please put them in the comment section. I will be answering right away. Okay, so remember to follow all our social media pages, Ibom Tech Week. If you have any specific questions, then please email us at techweek@ibominnovation.ng. Will the daily activities take the entire day? No. So, for example, with the Innovation Challenge finales, that's going to be mostly during the morning to end at least towards the evening. The cultural night, just as it says, is going to be a nighttime activity starting at the earliest 4:30 p.m. The other days are a full day of conferences. Yes, they might take the whole day, but you are free to engage as much as you want and then leave at your own volition. So the setup is that you come, get what you can, and also not be tied down, but make sure that you attend what is most crucial to you. That's really how the setup will be. So for each day, we would even discuss more about who the speakers would be. If there's someone that you've admired from a distance, it might be a great time to catch up with them and build a relationship and network afterwards. So that's something to bear in mind for the event. So there's so many people who discuss about what is the best way to attend an event. You have to also decide what you want to get out of the experience. People attend a lot of events for marketing, meaning that I have a product or service that I want to sell at this event. So, for example, yes, we do have exhibition booths available for sale, but if you attend as a guest and then you see someone who you think could benefit and you strike up the conversation, that's how sales could be made. So which days and activities for non-restricted access? So we have VIPs. So our VIPs will be attending the cultural night. That's one, for example. So if you register as a VIP, then you have free access to the cultural night. We'll also be having a closing dinner that's also open to VIP guests. So those are some of the things that are specific to attending as a VIP. Other things are open access. Something else that was very interesting from last year is our after hour activities where we visit some of the most exciting spots in Akwa Ibom. So of course that's much later in the day, and you're free to attend as well. So that's about it. And more questions before we wrap up. Just so you remember, just so you know, there's no question that we would frown at answering as long as it's tied to the event and it helps you decide how you want to participate. So please ask all your questions. We're very happy to take them and encourage you to come and come with all your friends and people within your network. We're very sure of the impact and the value that our event will provide. And I see ID is back.
Uh, okay, so there are a couple of questions. Most people ask, how do they register for the event? How can they register for the event? And I think that IBOM Innovation Network as a website is accessible enough. So if you go to ibominnovation.ng, and by the way, I know there is a distinction between a volunteer and other types of attendees. So when you heard Amanda say you can attend and leave at your volition, if you are a volunteer, you know you're not leaving. But that should be heartbreaking anyway. But it's also rewarding to stay from beginning to the end of a program to know how things are going. But there is a question people are maybe are not asking. This event, most of the events will happen at Ibom Icon. Amanda, how are people getting there? I don't know if you talked about it.
We haven't really talked about how people are getting there. We said we'll provide logistics if people have large groups that they champion. So that was one of the things that we mentioned earlier. But I know that this is a question that has not come up here, but I've been looking at our messages. People keep asking, can I still volunteer? Can I still volunteer? So this is to you, ID. Do we still have any volunteering spots open? That's one of the most asked questions in our DM. I'm sure you are aware. So please address it here because I know some people here have friends that they might have wanted to bring in. So please address that.
Unfortunately, the volunteer application has closed, and we are currently in the process of shortlisting the application. So until we do that and find or distill the quality that we're looking for, we may not be able to say if we can take any more volunteers for now. But because most of the things we are doing are on timetables, right now we are just trying to onboard the other new set of volunteers. Uh, in the media unit, we can take a few recommendations because it is a skill-based type of volunteering, apart from where passion can take you. But because it is skill-based, we can take recommendations for media volunteers. But for other types of volunteers, we may have to conclude that onboarding process to know where where would still have more need. But just as a way of keeping our audiences engaged, the last time we opened the application for just a week, I don't think it was up to a week, we had 200 volunteers, 200. And this is in addition to over 100 volunteers who had applied for during the media volunteer window, because we always onboard media people earlier than the others because the work of the media guys and comms start way earlier before the main event. So if you add 200 plus with 100, that is already 300 people expressing interest to volunteer for us. And this also goes to show how impactful and attractive being a volunteer for Kwaibom Tech Week is. We give certificates, right? Because you would have worked for it. And I like to tell people volunteering for Kwaibom Tech Week is not a place to come and hide because you just want to find access through the back gate, you know. There's really some work to do. And yes, when it is open, we'll let people know. But for now, if you have not had any way to enter the event, just go and register for the free entry. Register for the event, you'll still be able to enter. So yes, Amanda, that's what it is. Oh, by the way, I'm seeing another Siema on online. Hanson has joined. Has Hanson talked about the innovation challenge?
Not yet. If he can speak, I would love him to address some of that. But I responded to Peter, but just to say, I would really love to hear your spoken word at the creative showcase. So please reach out to us. It will be great to have you. There's someone I've seen on Instagram, a guitarist that is our person. That would be. It's really nice for us to capture a lot of the talent that is not just tech, like a lot of you have said. This could be a great platform for any of your your talented friends to shine. So we have some good news. I think that Ima will be able to join us shortly. We're very excited to have her. So this is where um, Heidi and myself might just bow out of the stage and let the fabulous Ima Hack, come up and talk about tech skills, for tech sales rather. So yeah, she's coming on board now. I feel like we have a lot to learn, especially now. Just to let everyone know, once you get into a job or a role, you have to deliver. So just even as an opening for Ima. So we have a lot of people who are building, and sometimes the reason why they lose skill is because they're unable to get people to actually use the product. So you might build the most beautiful product, but if you cannot sell it to someone, then that business or that tech dies. So we want to hear more from Ima. I'm going to be taking a bow here. Thank you so much for sticking with us, and we're happy to have her.
Hi, thank you for having me, Amanda, and the entire team. You guys are doing a fabulous work. As a mom, something happened urgently. I had to rush the baby out. I think she fell out off her what do I call it, babysitter. So I had to attend to that, and I'm sorry I'm coming in a bit late. So, but here we are, and what I have in store for you, and nothing can steal that away from the program. And I believe that sales is one of those skills that you really, really need as a founder. In fact, I heard someone say if you spend 90% of your time selling, marketing as a founder, you can never fail, right? And let me break some of the notions that people have about sales, which is that I don't have to be a salesperson as a founder. I don't need to understand how sales work. That is completely false. But before I get started, let me introduce myself. My name is Ima Hack, and I'm based in Germany. I'm a German citizen, but I was born and raised in Nigeria. I'm from Akwa State. I've worked in tech in different capacities, both in sales and marketing in Germany and also in Nigeria. I worked in marketing and sales in real estate and in consulting. So I consulted for a lot of startups, and that's what really made me to fall in love with the startup space and pretty much understand the dynamics of sales and marketing for small and medium-sized companies, which kind of varies from the marketing for larger firms. And furthermore, today's topic is also going to cover tech sales, which involves marketing for tech startups. So basically, products that are not physical, hardware, software, platforms, communities. These are things that we cover in tech sales. So um, I would I would love to let you be free. If you have questions, you can always write them in chat. If you would like to get some more knowledge on a specific topic, you can ask for more clarifications. And I'm happy to have you all here listening to this. And if you're listening to this afterwards, after the live stream, I hope this is something that you can really benefit from, and I know that it will be worth your time to listen. So build before you build the product, right? You have to sell the product. A lot of people make the mistake of building a product before they sell. I would like to know if I'm still live because I'm frozen here. So a lot of people build the product before they sell, and that's the mistake that many founders make. You don't go with a mind, I have this idea. I've seen there are lots of ideas. I have lots of founders, and I'm one of them that, when I have an idea, I'm like, I'm so crazy about this thing. I'm like telling everybody like this is the best thing since sliced bread. And people oftentimes get high on their idea without even going to consult the the consumer. And what I have learned is that to be a successful founder, you have or a salesperson, you have to be humble. You have to be humble to the fact that you don't know it all. You do not represent 90% of the customers. So for instance, if you're a millionaire, right, you can't say everybody can afford this thing. If I price it at $5,000 per item, right, that you can afford it, but you don't represent the majority of the market. And if you're crazy about a specific idea, doesn't mean that everybody's going to be crazy about that idea. So go into the market first with your idea. You don't have to expose everything that you're doing. Make an MVP, a minimum viable product. So a product that you can show. To this point, it costs you less money, right? Sometimes a minimum viable product is not the app, right? It's a WhatsApp group. For instance, you already get people signing in up on the WhatsApp group, or it's a Facebook group. It could be anything. Your MVP does not have to start and end with tech, with high-end tech. It could start with, even or physically. You can, how they have this Agile thing where you save money every month. If you're trying to build a system like that, you can first test it with physical savings, right? So going to the marketplace, understanding and interacting with your customers is the biggest win for any tech idea, right? Um, and then understanding if there's a mismatch between your idea and the market you're trying to cater to. So I have seen in so many instances where people create a product that is absolutely gorgeous, but for the wrong market. So for instance, I worked with two tech companies. One was selling like an AI tool for companies that were its major competitors. And personally, fundamentally, I saw this was wrong because you cannot be creating a data mining tool to give your competitors, to sell to your competitors. It's kind of like saying, I wouldn't trust you, right? If you are my competitor and you say, hey, you use this tool, right? Or the next one was trying to sell money, so financial services to old money, right? So old money means like old manufacturers in Europe, people that have manufacturing companies, that have farming companies, agricultural companies, and you're trying to sell them money, right? This is old money, right? And basically, when I did the market research, I literally went back to the company and told them, look, nobody needs this, right? But they wouldn't stop at that. So they continued pressing forward. And, a year later, they had to close down, right? But at that point, they've spent millions and a lot of time, a lot of resources. However, understanding your marketplace, how you interact with your marketplace, and why people should buy from you is really um and for us, sorry, there's a question. I don't think it's for me. So the most important thing is understanding your market, understanding your marketplace, doing a lot of research. And research doesn't just mean looking up at numbers, it means having, conversations with people, not just with your family and friends, because of course they're extremely biased. So you need to go to people that are not your family and friends, probably don't even know you, but are so angry enough about the problem you are trying to solve that they are willing to even give you the solution for free, right? There are also paid researchers where you pay people that look exactly like your customers. So for instance, if you're targeting bankers age 40 to 50 living in Lagos, for instance, you are able to pay someone to take part in this review or customer interview, and they're able to give you feedback, right? um so before you start building, I want to see your research. I want to see that you've done your market research, you've interacted with potential customers, you've gotten feedback, you know what features to even start building, and what don't write a line of code without having talked to at least 100 potential customers. It would help you to understand the real state of the problem, right? And how you're going to solve that with using technology, right? And also building the product. Okay, fine. Now you've done that preliminary research. You now have a product. You're having people sign up. So how do you now cash in on global sales, right? So mm, there is that part of understanding that when you're entering into a new market, right? There are different, there are new, there's a way this new market interacts with you. For instance, if you're selling to Nigerians, right? There's a way your language should be. There was a way your presentation should be. There's a way a lot of things have to be, right? So I've reviewed a lot of like proposals and grants for people applying to opportunities in Germany, and I see that sometimes, for instance, you bring a PowerPoint presentation. um, One that recently got in, he brought a PowerPoint presentation, and it was in red. The background was red and was so much colors. I said, please, 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 if you want a German to read this thing, remove every element of red in this presentation, and convert it to mild colors, right? Use the right tone, use the right respectful tone, right? And so understanding the dynamics and the cultural, socio-cultural environment of the country you're trying to target before you even reach out is essential. So, for instance, if you call an American by their first name, they don't mind. If you call a German by their first name, they're going to be extremely pissed off, right? So you have to use um, Mr. So and so, Mr. Surname, right? And so on and so forth. So the language has to be more respectful and not too invasive. So if you approach an American and say, "Hey, my name is Ima. I would like to sell you so so and so," they might not take offense. If you did the same thing to a German, they would block you, right? So the Germans, because by nature Germans take longer to build trust in people, right? So if you understand that, you have to really consider in your marketing approach, you need to consider, how do I get the customer to trust me? It's for every one customer I win in America, it would take me 3 times as much time and energy, right, to 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 win a German customer, because I have to first of all build trust, show that I have a lot of testimonials, I can be trusted because of my, what I've done for this company and that company. And even then the conversations really go longer and deeper, because there are certain biases which people already have, and as a salesperson, that's where you have to work hard in pulling down these biases. So in the next aspect is, before you enter the market, study the social economic aspects. Now the next part is that you've entered the market, you're having engagements, you also need to understand the legalities in that market. So for instance, if you're targeting European Union, you need to understand certain things about their privacy law. It's very strict here. If you have a website, your website should show certain information about your business, and should, for instance, should have your address, your company registration number, and also your website should be able to show that what cookies you're using, and let people accept it or not. You can't just collect people's number and emails anyhow using forms. It could land you in deep troubles, or fines. So it's easy to get fined in Europe for data breach or misuse of data, or for instance sending bulk emails to people you don't know. You could get into trouble. So these are things that you need to understand: the legal aspect, the cultural aspect, and also the economic aspect. So um, what people are willing to pay, what is the average salary, for instance, of the person, and how do they currently spend money. Are they not big spenders? So, for instance, Americans pay better than Germans, for instance, and in salaries, right? So, for a job that would be like $6,000 in Germany, it will be like $3,000 or 3,000 euros, right? So, understanding how the spending habits of people in that population behave, in people in that country, and then also understanding how they interact with foreigners and how they make buying decisions. So in certain cultures, buying decisions are made from word of mouth. I know someone who's used this one. It's very predominant here in Germany, and we call it I think vitamin B or something like that. Like connection, when you have connection, even to get a job, or having connection to get opportunities and so on and so forth. It's, as much as it sounds like it's only a Nigerian thing, yes, they do it a bit more subtle here. It's not in your face, but yes, connection really goes a long way. So these are like the nitty gritties that you need to understand in any market that you're going for. I'm just using Germany because I'm more conversant with that, but I know like in China it's pretty different. In America it's pretty different. Europe it's pretty much the same all over, except when you start to go towards like countries like Italy and Spain, they're a bit more open and a bit more dynamic in their own approach, right? And then the next thing that you really, really need to look at is how to use technology. So, sales skills. What sales skills do you require? And let's dive right into that, right? So, the first sales skills that you need to break into the global market is the skill of qualification. We've canceled out the skill of research, right? We already discussed that. So just being able to know how to research the market, you could hone your research skills. It will go a long way. It will save you time. It will. So, for instance, if you're going to cut down a forest of, let's say, 10,000 trees, right? And they gave you an axe, and then they said start cutting, and the axe was not sharp, wouldn't you spend at least a whole day, sharpening the axe so that you can do the job faster? And that's what it is when you hone your sales skills. You're sharpening those skills so that you're not doing a game of numbers. You're not contacting 1,000, 10,000 random people, right? But you're instead you sharpen your sales skills. You know how to qualify. And in sales, qualification is basically taking the taking a group of people, right? Taking a subset of your customer or your leads, and looking through their profile. So creating a profile first of how a customer that is more likely to buy, or that has the highest chance of buying, looks like. So for instance, let's take I'm selling I'm selling give me an example in the in the chat box, right? An example of a product. So I'm selling a software that's links talent to large companies, large firms, right? And so I am now going to create a profile. My profile would be someone, of course, that is a founder, CEO, right? That is a founder or a CEO or a hiring manager, and for this specific kind of company. So a company that has over 50 to 500 workers. These are more likely to buy from me. The guys with 500 and above workers, employees, do not need the service. The people below 50 are probably too small to afford it. And then you'll say, for instance, the company has to be making at least up to $1 million to $50 million. And then so on and so forth, right? This has to be this kind of company. It's not going to be, I'm not going to target companies in chemical companies. I'm not going to target this. I'm not going to target every industry. I'm going to select specific industries and target them, right? Once I've narrowed down the industry, by size of company, I've narrowed down by the role, I've narrowed down by their maybe previous history of purchase history, like have they worked with freelancers before? Yes or no. If they worked with freelancers before, they have a higher chance of working again with freelancers. If they have a high turnover rate, they have a better chance. And so you create like 6 or to 20 qualification criteria. And when you approach the customer, before you approach the customer, you should already tick off some of those questions. And as you're going down the customer funnel, as you're having conversations or engagements, whether through LinkedIn or through phone calls or through email, you're able to ask more relevant questions to the customers. I currently have a sales course on YouTube. You can check my channel called Tech Sales Simplified. You would find 2 videos that go into deep extent on how to do that. So I don't want to repeat that here so that we don't go for too long, right? And so once you have that criteria, you approach the customer and then you qualify the customer. Therefore, the customers that are not qualified, you no longer have to waste energy trying to reach out to them, trying to convince them, because they don't need your product. They probably can't afford it. They probably don't have a need for it, or they probably are not the right company for you, right? So the skill of qualification is something that you should build. The next skill that you need to build is outreach. So I personally love to use AI for outreach. I've used I use, for instance, Gravity Writes to hone my sales writing skills. I ask it different questions. I have this target audience, for instance, this specific feature that says I have this particular feature I would like to present my dashboard, for instance. I'm going to get to there if you give me some time. So I have features that ask, for instance, I want to enter this market. How do I approach it? What is my perfect sales page? How should I market this thing? These are things that, even though you have ideas, right? Even though you have ideas, you can still get new ideas, right? And move on with that. So the other tool I like to use is tools for automating connections and contacts. So I use LinkedIn Helper. You can check online for linked Helper, right? I think it's Linked Helper, but it's kind of like LinkedIn Helper. And I use that for outreach. I don't know if it works in Nigeria, but if you use the tool, you can go into it. It goes into LinkedIn for you and does and automates the outreach process. So sending emails to new first contacts, and then going to the process of even sending first message, second message, third, fourth, fifth messages to the contacts. And that helps you a lot because it frees you time to do other things, to also make focus on creating content, or focus on having phone calls with clients, improving your products, doing market research, engaging in sales, and so on and so forth. So knowing how to use AI is a very important skill. So there are several AI tools that you can use. There are tools for making videos, right? And there are tools for making content. There are CRM tools like HubSpot. There are tools that help you to be more effective in your sales, because the the most important skill in sales is the skill of organization, because there's just going to be so many things you're going to be handling. It's not like in, for instance, coding, you're working towards one project at a time, right? But in sales, you're literally working towards like 1,000 projects at the same time. You're contacting 100 to 1,000 people sometimes at the same time. You're writing them emails, you're responding, you're engaging with hundreds of people, right? So being organized in all of this and using artificial intelligence will help you to succeed abundantly in sales. So learn how to use AI in outreach, learn how to use AI in content writing, learn how to use AI in generation of ideas, and learn how to use AI to, for instance, do your market research, and finally learn how to use AI in lead generation. So getting emails, getting phone numbers, getting contacts, and so on and so forth, right? Now, that brings us to the next part, which is the sales funnel. The sales funnel is an important part of your business. If you are not constant, if you don't have a good sales funnel, which is a pipeline, you're definitely going to miss out on a lot of things. You're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities to sell, because you're constantly chasing customers and you don't know where you are and how to effectively funnel them all the way down to purchase. So for instance, if you are buying a if you if you if you have a platform and you want to drive customers down to purchase from you, the first thing you need to think about is the top of the funnel, right? The middle of the funnel and at the bottom of the funnel. The top of the funnel is basically where you collect data, where you collect contact information. So for instance, free webinars, making free downloadable ebooks or information or whatever it is that people can download, and before they download, you collect their emails. Before they join your webinar, you collect their emails. Before they do XYZ, you collect their emails. It could be in so many various ways to fill up this funnel. It could also be through your website. So you have a landing page where people can come on and you immediately get their information, their email addresses or their phone numbers. And that at that stage, that's the bottom, that's the top of the funnel. Now, attention, you've gotten their attention, right? The next thing is their interest. So the next thing you want to get is the interest of the customer. And the interest of the customer is gotten by several means. Now that you have their email, you can reach out to them with prospects, with testimonials, with proof of work, and you can also reach out to them to do certain to to join maybe in another webinar or to view a demo of your product. You want to address their pain points. So the one of the critical part of selling is being able to understand what are the pain points that your product solves. I ask people, for instance, whoever, I asked an architect, what are you selling? He said he's selling designs. I said, no, you're not selling designs. Really think about what you're selling, because every architect is selling designs. That's true, right? But that's not what differentiates you. So what differentiates you is how you solve the client's pain points. For instance, I, as an architect, I could say I help my customers increase productivity by designing spaces for them that are more effective. For instance, office spaces that are more efficient, right? That they can increase their productivity and their profit. So the way you tell your story, the way you present yourself, goes a long way to ensuring that you are creating interest in the customer. And that, what that interest does is it leads to desire, and that's what we call the AIDA model. So attention, interest, desire, and then you want the customer to take action. That's preliminary what that funnel does. It takes the customer from attention, and then you have, once you have their attention, you capture, make sure you capture, right, that attention in form of emails, um, social media pages, whatever it is, that you are able to, however, whatever your contact point is. But in the area of tech sales, you are basically online, right? Then nurturing is the part where you now create interest in your product. And the way you can do that is by sending them information, because we don't buy from strangers. We buy from people we trust. We buy from people we think have the solution to our problem. We buy from people that we are confident that they could actually help us, and they're not just going to take money from us and deliver rubbish, right? So it is therefore critical to understand how and what issues the customer is facing, because even though, for instance, you sell something that is in high demand, the way you tell your story can either encourage someone to buy or not to buy. And so the whole purpose of creating interest and giving more information is so that they will have the interest, which will eventually lead to the desire to buy from you, right? And once you have that desire from them, you now have to be prepared to show them how to take action. So when they are now engaged with you for a while, you've nurtured them to a point where they now have that desire. There should be some form of action, which is usually the purchase or sign up, or sharing or engaging with your platform, right? And then you also want to be able to keep them in that action phase, and then turn them into ambassadors, people that will share your products, people that will tell other people about your products. And at every stage of this process is something that you have to sit down and think through for your business. You have to think through, for if you're a salesperson, you have to think through, how am I creating? Am I going to create attention, right? How am I going to create attention? For instance, I'm going to make webinars, and I'm going to get people to sign up for it. And then after the webinars, how do I create their interest, right? Okay, I will send them a newsletter 3 times a week, or I will get them to sign up in my WhatsApp community where I send them daily nuggets. And then how do I get them to desire something that I have? Maybe I can give them a free trial. How about that? I will give them a free trial, and with that free trial, so maybe your third or fourth email to them would be like, hey, I know you've been part of the community for a while. How would you like to try our premium service for 1 week for free, right? And therefore, you want to spark that desire, which want to eventually lead to action. And that doesn't mean that everybody that you have their attention will also have interest, will also then have the desire, will also have the action. That's why we have the shape of the funnel getting smaller at every phase. So when you've completed completely put at each phase how you're going to strategize with your business, how you're going to create interest, attention, desire. You're going to think about it in the global sphere, right? So don't, as much as you want to save cost and everything, you don't want to create the same product in every country. So there's a way that you want to be global and also local at the same time. So that means, for instance, a brand that is selling like McDonald's, right? McDonald's is known for their fries and burgers, but when they come to Nigeria, they would add something like jollof rice, right, to it, and that goes a long way to that goes a long way. So I don't know. I'm going to stop here for 2 minutes and see if there's any questions coming in. Okay, so in the absence of any questions, I'm going to continue. So that's just some of the fundamentals of going global. I'm going to recap some of the points I've raised here, which is build, sell before you build. Try and sell your products to the international market. Do a lot of research on that. Secondly, understand how you're going to how you're going to capture the international market using the ADA model, and think about all aspects of it, including cultural, legal, and economic aspects of the market that you're trying to enter into. Do we have any, Amanda, would you like to join back for any questions or interactions? Who's joining back? I'm seeing a person joining here, but I don't know who's joining back. Oh yeah, that's a very interesting question. How do you correct a bad impression that occurs with your brand? E.g., you made a mistake in delivering low quality products to your first time customer. Wow. Okay, that happens, and the first thing is you got to bear the cost, right? A lost customer is gonna cost you not just the amount that they, not gonna buy in the future, but they're probably gonna tell other people, don't trust these guys, they are not reliable, and so on and so forth. So it's gonna cost you even future sales. One thing you would need to do is apologize, accept that you made a mistake, send them a product. So last week I delivered a product to a first time customer and it broke. That wasn't my fault. That was the fault of the delivery company. They were using the carton to play football along the way to the delivery, right? So I got a message from the person, hey, this thing arrived, it was broken. And I was like, damn, now I'm going to have to pay for the cost of the product. I'm also going to pay for the cost of delivery. However, what is that worth to a lost customer? So yes, yesterday I sent them a good delivery again. And then, of course, you can also offer them an extra bonus or something, or you can offer them a voucher for their next purchase or something. There are so many ways to go about that. However, ensuring that you, first of all, clean up the mess, right? Um, and then improve your process. It's a big lesson for you. It's a blessing actually for you to clean up the mess before the bulk occurs. So if it's better if one product is spoiled than when you now have hundreds of customers ordering, and then you have to like fix hundreds of products. And that's you hear it all the time. For instance, Tesla recalling thousands of their cars, or Samsung returning, asking customers to return hundreds of thousands of phones. It can be on a very global scale, it can get really messy and expensive. So it's an opportunity for you to look into your processes, your packaging, your quality assurance, and so on and so forth. It's actually a blessing in disguise. Any other question? And make sure, in the case where you don't want to refund them return the item to them, right? Because that's also going to cost you delivery price. I would recommend you refund them the money. So just give them back the money that they already spent. So if it's worth 10,000 naira, you just transfer back the money to them. It's painful, but I hope the pain kind of teaches you to be more careful in the future. Any other question? Any question on global sales? So maybe another question for global sales would be, how do you position yourself in the international market? And it's there's several ways, right? You can use partners. You can try to do some free work for international customers. That way, you now have international testimonials or global testimonials. For instance, if you're targeting the American market, you could offer to do service uh, for a particular brand for free, and then you use that as your case study, right, to be able to get other customers on board. You also need to know if you need to register in some certain countries or have bank accounts in certain countries. You need to ensure that that is done. So positioning yourself involves also looking at your branding, right? The packaging, is it standard or does it look like something that was made in area market? So if you work on that, you work on building a global brand, do some research on international branding, see how your products is comparing with other products in that market. So for instance, your labeling or your website, you can check how you can compare that with other products in that current market and then improve. The next question is, how do you build back trust when when a responsibility was given to you, but you didn't carry out that responsibility and communication was not given to your manager? So building back trust when a responsibility was given to you, right? I believe that's talking about, yeah, so you're working with a customer and your manager did not communicate um, the responsibility, right, to you. Um, I think the major way to do that is by simply being very open about it. I didn't hear about this, and I'm not trying to point fingers at anyone, because you have to take responsibility for your part of the task, right? However, you need to ask the person to clarify what it is that they want you to do very clearly, and then you give them a new timeline, right, to execute that, and ensure that you execute it. And again, it's gonna cost you time and effort, right? But you you need to know how you're going to work that out, because it's easy to destroy trust, and to build it back is very hard. It's a bit harder, right? It's a lot harder to build trust than to destroy it, because destroying trust just takes one small incident, but building trust sometimes takes years or months of deliberately working with people, deliberately showing that you're capable of handling something, deliberately communicating as often as possible with the customer, and putting your best foot forward. Next question is, how do you handle objections from potential clients? So classify your objections before you hop on a sales call. Sit down and ask yourself possibly questions that other customers have asked you. Prepare your answers, because they're going to ask you, right? If the objection is about price, here's how to handle it. So when a customer says, I can't afford that, $5,000 for that, or 5,000 naira for that, no, I'm not going to pay 5,000 naira for that. The first tactic to do that is to not to avoid the discussion, but rather divert the focus of the customer from price to the value you're bringing to the table, right? So instead of saying, okay, you know what, I can give it to you at 4.5 or 3.5, you now switch the conversation and say, imagine, imagine having seamless XYZ, because you invested, that would result in about $5 million profit in your business over 2 years, because you invested 5,000 naira or dollars today in this product. What difference would that make? And this is how XYZ customer did. This is what this other customer did. And this is the results you're able to deliver to them. And you're able to deliver the similar result to them. You successfully removed the conversation from money to value, right? So prepare objections, prepare answers for them, and there's several YouTube videos that talk about different kind of objections and how to handle it. So if it's on price, there are strategies to handle that. If it's about time, there are strategies to handle. I don't have enough time for this. There are objections to there are ways to handle objections about the quality, or about the time, or the duration, or whatever it is that the objections that they have are. I mean, most objections are not usually, but are often around price and delivery. Any other question? So it really helps in the area of handling objection. It helps that you you really sit down and write down what the objections could possibly be, and write down your script to respond to those objections. So even if somebody wakes you up in the middle of the night and say, hey, I can't afford that, you already have your script for them rolling, and it's a script that works. And if it doesn't work, you need to change that script. So you keep tuning in your script. Sales is a craft. It's not like something that you just do however you feel like doing. It's a science and it's a craft. You work on it, you build on it, you test it. You test this line, it's not working, try another line, you test it, if it's working, you know, and then you kind of fine tune it, keep using it. If it stops working, if the you know if the efficiency of that strategy does not work, you try another one. I saw some other questions, but I no longer see them now. Okay. What happens what happens when you try to convince a client on a particular project, but they have their budget and not willing to spend more, but want that same high quality for their budget? Hmm. Okay, so negotiate. I would say negotiate on this one. Negotiation means that if it's something that you will deliver value to them and they would get back some kind of money, what you need to do is ask them if they can't pay in money, what else can they pay in? Can they pay in a percentage of their revenue from that thing that you're doing, or can they pay in form of, maybe doing some services back for you? Because if it's going to cost you so much money, depends at what stage your business is. If you're at that stage where you're just new and you want to take on as many jobs as you can for experience, right? Then I would say go for it. But if you're build your brand, you're doing very well, and people consistently don't want to work with your budget, use the same objection that I talked about earlier, and see if someone has a budget. Unless they don't have that money, then I would say, but if they have that money, it's your job to convince them that the work you're going to do for them is worth every single penny of that. Do you have any questions? Okay, I think we've sorted out the first point mentioned, selling before building. Yes, we sorted out that. Now I want to know where you guys joining in from. So just quickly write on your chat the area where you currently live and what's your occupation. I'd like to meet some of you guys in the chat box. So just write where you're dialing in from and what you do. Sell your business in the chat box. For a minute or two, and I'm just going to give you a shout out so that people can also know what you're doing. So don't forget, if you're having a conviction problem as well, you need to check your website as well. If there's a lot you can do to your website to be able to convince people, and one of them is testimonials, right? Putting more testimonials on your website, ensuring that your website is SEO, search engine optimized, and doing a lot of social media presence. Cover your testimonials there so that at the point people are at the buying decision phase, they have seen a lot of your work, they've seen the quality of your customers, and they'll even be ashamed to price when you mention the price for them. You understand? So that goes a long way. Hi, Gideon Sunday. Tell us where you're joining from and what it is you do. Hi, Shulamite. Okay, nice to meet you guys. How do you adopt your sales approach for different cultural markets? Okay. Um, so the first thing is ensure that you uh, ensure that you have done your research, right? Add the cultural context to your marketing, to your sales. Ensure that you add maybe products that are relevant for that market. And that, for instance, if you're a fashion designer, don't bring, for instance, if you're trying to target the German market, don't bring your colorful, big, fluffy, overcomplicated Ankara designs. Maybe they just like simple things with a touch of Africa, of course, right? So adapting your market is one of the things. Then it's adapting your product is one step. The next step is now adapting your words, the words that you use in your marketing channels, for instance, using automation to reach out to more people, building a business network, right? Start networking, start getting feedback, offer to do your work sometimes at a reduced rate just to get experience in that market. And also try reaching out to people to talk to their friends. So it is very important, right, when you're breaking into a market, to get word of mouth referrals. And that's what helps. Find someone, do a great job, and then they will start referring you to their friends and businesses, right? And their friends, of course, and their business partners. Next question is back to business and product research. How does the founder know that he has gathered sufficient data to help him start developing the product? That's a good question. So there's in product development, there are different phases in the iteration. The first phase is you've collected the initial, let's say 100 questions, right? As a standard. We've done 100 interviews, face-to-face interviews or questionnaires or however, but face-to-face interviews are important because you get to have longer conversations with people. You can ask them back and forth, is this really what you want? Is this how you need it? And then you now create your MVP. When you've created your minimum viable products, right? You're still in that market, you get interactions, people have started buying, then they keep giving you feedback. I don't like this feature, I don't like that feature, I want you to change that. And that's when you start to fix. You can give yourself 3 iterations for your product development: the first product, the first MVP, MVP2, MVP3, and then you now say, okay, this is the final product. But there is really no final product. As you can see, even your WhatsApp app is adding new features every month or every 2 months. So, but you've gotten to that point where you have your MVP. By MVP, you can already start earning income. You can already start earning revenue because people are paying for it. And when people start paying for your product, that's when you really get real feedback because people have paid for it, right? And so you keep improving. And then this is an internal discussion whereby you've gotten to a point where your customers are happy with the product they're getting by checking, by always still reviewing with the customer, are you okay, are you satisfied, is there anything we can change about this? And you keep iterating till you finally have a product where majority of your customers are happy. You have a, let's say, 4.5 out of 5 rating at least, and from there you can keep working on the product. So there's never an end to it. For on product research, there's never an end to it. Most companies, even big companies, have their research and development department still, and they keep on researching and developing. Hi, Abel Udo, joining from Uyo. I build scalable and innovative website solutions that elevate your brand. Awesome. Utibe Abraham is based in Akwa Ibom. He or she, I think it's a she. I'm a content creator. I have a friend that's called Utibe and he's a male, so forgive me if I thought you were a male, right? Um, So the process of product development should never end with I have a product now, people are buying. It should keep on continuing, at least for the first 3 years of your business, and then it's a bit more solid. um I'm going to take two more questions and then we'll end. What advice do you have for someone looking to expand their sales skills to a more global market? I think you should take one start. Just go in on the global market, and you learn as you grow. You don't, for instance, you don't learn a bike, you don't learn how to drive bicycle by reading all the books in the world. No, you get on a bicycle, you fall a few times, and from that falling you understand, oh, this is what I did wrong the last time. This is how I can improve on it next time, right? So take your idea, run with it. Which market? Target a specific market. Don't target 60 countries at the same time. Start target, okay, 5 countries. And be very, and know why you target those countries. You don't just say, I like the name of America, I'm going to America. No, you've done your research. Oh, America has a need for this market. Canada has a need for this product, sorry. Germany, no, they don't like this product because XYZ, because of data security. They might not like to work with, XYZ. But this country is more liberal. This country pays better. Whatever your reason is, do your research on that. And nobody's going to give you in one place all the information you need to enter a market. However, there's going to be a level at which you have collected information, you've learned a lot about that, then you now select the target market that you want to enter. After you've selected the target market you want to enter, right, you improve on your outreach method, you improve on your messaging, right? You work on your website. You can even create a website specifically for that country, or a landing page for that country, so that when you're interacting with people from that country, instead of sending them your homepage, you're sending them a landing page that has all the information about how they can work with you in that country specifically, and that actually presents you as a more serious minded person. So that's how to. And then if you're looking at your sales skills, there's lots of videos on YouTube on different sales skills. Go international marketing sales skill. It's very broad because of, in terms of research, in terms of understanding the cultural context, in terms of data collection, lead generation, how to probably do better lead generation for each country that you want to target. And then like I said, try it out. Gideon Sunday is a project manager and cybersecurity advocate, the graduate of computer science, listening from Uyo. We have Upono, who's a lead photographer, founder of Blur's X, a media advertising and branding company based in Uyo. It's so amazing. Thank you so much all for joining. God bless you. And you can follow me on LinkedIn with my name, Hackh, with the Hackh with the blue background. That's me. And I look forward to interacting with you in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ma, for joining us and also for giving so much value. For me, as a person, I have learned a lot in this session, and I'm sure I'm going to put on my A game if I'm taking that route of sales after now. So thank you very much for making that time to be with us. So I want to also bring on stage as well about also running up Mr. Idon, so the seeing the co-planner of Aquibum Tech Week. So I think he had something to say to us before we call it a day. So, Mr. Idon, over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Ima. That was a masterclass, and I noticed you came straight to the heart of the conversation, where it evolves around founders who are building stuff. And I understand that from a product development perspective, and you have cautiously advised us to do as much research as possible before we should start selling before we even develop the product. I actually asked that question to say when it's just the right time to say I'm done with research, right? And to stop doing that research and focus on market development and all of that. But I know you've already answered it. Like my point here is that what you've delivered to us would like to have more of it and to find ways of integrating that into the main event because it is a masterclass, I must say.
Yes, I mean, it's something that every startup founder needs to know and incorporate, because I know most founders have tech skills, and that's why I'm so passionate about this, because I've worked in at least two incubators, and I've seen a lot of founders come in with their awesome ideas, but they're too technologically minded, that they are spending 90% of their time in development, in app building apps, in but after you build the apps, you gotta sell it. And so it is worthwhile to take your time, right, to build the customer base before you start to build the app. Because once you put on your app building brain, you're not going to be able to switch in between so easily. And also find a co-founder that is good with sales, good with marketing. That also helps. At least when you're busy engulfed in your coding or whatever you do as a founder, the other person is focused on the markets, understanding customers, how to please customers, how to make customers happy, how to spend more time understanding the customer. Because if you have a good customer base, your other side is it should also be intact. Someone should be holding both grounds. For instance, I did a consulting for a lady, and she said to me, we just run the marketing, just run the promo, we will handle it. I told her, you don't have enough workers to handle this promo. She said, no, we have enough workers. I said, the worker you have is too slow. It's producing one item in 2 days. And that cannot happen if I run this thing. It took her a while to find, she did not even agree. So I went ahead, ran the promo, and by Monday, she called me. I need to see you in the office by Tuesday morning, first thing in the morning. We need to hire somebody, because the weight of the amount of sales that came in that weekend, they had 2 weeks of backlogs to deliver. So there always has to be someone who is doing the market research and is good at that, and then someone else holding the production side, the operation
Great
side.
operations, yeah.
Exactly, especially when that's not when you before ideation. So once you already started, you need to hold your grounds very well on both sides.
Yeah, I think it's important, just not too far away. One of my clients requested that they would need to have some expansion. They're into pastries,
Mm-hmm.
and they said we've been doing one bag in 2 or 3 days, and they now need to double the capacity, and
Mm-hmm.
they needed investment to double the capacity. And I told them, go and double the capacity with the one bag. Instead of doing it for 3 days, do it in one day. Let us see how you scale with one bag in one day. Then you can get investment for, 4 bags maybe
Mm-hmm.
in a week or so. Because while doubling your production capacity, you also need to be able to double up with your operations and sales and product evacuation
Yeah,
as
and
well.
that's even more important for international sales.
Correct?
I mean, sorry,
Okay.
I
Thank you very much.
you were frozen for a bit. I
Okay.
was going to also mention that it's important in international sales to have that covered, because if your systems are going to be start and stop, you lose credibility faster than you even earn it. Right? So
And when they leave, they don't come back.
Yeah, that's
before you go into that international market, just tweak your brand, tweak your operation, tweak everything. Make sure that the capacity can carry. By the time the customers start flowing in, we don't have to start saying, okay, sorry, your delivery time is not 2 days now, it's now 20 days, you know. So you have to have those areas sorted out.
Yeah. So then on a final note, when you are building a brand, a business, or a product, and then you find out that every brand that is successful has a secret sauce somewhere,
Hmm.
the secret code. How important is it to also entrench your secret of success in your operations? So much that even if there are algorithms somewhere hidden in the codes, but you also have something as strong enough in your customer relations or operations.
I mean, so your that brings us back to the question of market research, understanding the pain points, what is making people cry every day without the existence of your product, and what problem is your product solving? If, for instance, I have a product, right? I sell fresh vegetables and byproducts of that, and people come to me. Why? Because 100% guaranteed that whatever they are buying from me just came out of the ground not more than 2 hours before they picked it up, right? So there has to be something that makes you unique about it. It might be a more difficult story to sell. It might mean that not everybody will be your customer because there are people that want it cheap, right? But there are people that want, fresh items, and that's what you need to have something that makes your product stand out. It could also be customer service, excellent customer service. There are airlines that in fact, I flew Turkish Airlines once because of jollof rice. That's some jollof burger or something that they sell. It's not rice, but it's like burger, but it tasted like jollof rice. And I swear, I did not. Next time I said I'm flying to Nigeria, I'm flying Turkish Airlines. I must use it. And it was funny because the next time I now flew with them, they did not serve that jollof rice. They served pasta. I was so pissed off. So customer service, something as stupid as that, someone can decide to fly with you. I used another airline when we went there with my child. They gave my child a toy and they also gave her picture. They also took our picture. They made us feel very welcome. They were like, you can even take the entire back seat for yourselves if you need more space. I felt very welcome. And the next time I wanted to fly, I said I have to fly this, even though this one is a bit more expensive. But this one, the way they made me feel like a queen, I'm not sure anybody can ever do that again. So having something, let there be something. It could be your customer service, it could be your product, it could be when they enter your store, the way your store is arranged, it could be anything. My husband was laughing at me when I came back and they did not give me my jollof rice because it was like, is this the reason why I entered this plane? you know so that is how it is. There's something about you about your product that is consistent, right? That is consistent and that is unique. You understand? Everybody is doing the same thing, everybody has the same platform, everybody, but what is it about you? And that's where it comes in from the beginning, the product development. And I tell you, most products fail from development, not from marketing or from anything. They fail from the entire development process. And that's why I said at that stage, take your time. Take your time to do market research. Take your time to understand the needs of people. Take your time to understand your competitors, where is their weaknesses. For instance, most airlines that are flying to Nigeria, they're serving crap. They're serving their funny food. And that's where Air Peace or which airline started flying to UK,
Airpace.
and they're
Airpace.
selling yes, and they're presenting a band. People are doing videos up and down on social media as see finally fufu in the airplane, so there has to be something that you understand about the market, and you use that. And people will not even some people might not even tell you. They might be too ashamed to tell you it's the food is the reason why I'm taking this airline, right? But I know experience, we know exactly why we are doing certain things. So we will say, is this thing that I like about this airplane? That's why I want to use it. So what is it about your product that will make people keep talking about you? Talking, you have 5 customers. Let that first 5 customers bring another 5. Let it be like network marketing. 5 bring 5, bring 5, bring 5, bring 5. There has to be about your product that is worthy of talking. And that's what makes you to create a viral product. Is when your product is something that is worth talking about. If your product is not worth talking about, nobody's going to talk about you. You know, there has to be something. It could be very odd. It could be something very odd about you. It could even be your way of content creation on social media, always creating content nonstop. It could be whatever it is. Let there be something unique, funny, humorous, interesting, enlightening, caring, understanding. You need to sit down at the beginning of your product and product development phase and say, I want to be an understanding brand. I want to be a listening brand. So when people think about me, they think about this company that listens to you, or they think about me as think about my brand as a brand that is constantly surprising customers, right? And so on and so forth. Incorporate this thing. Take the theory of everything you've learned today and incorporate into your business, and you will be blessed. You know, if you take everything that you've learned today and you put it in your pocket and you say, "Wow, I really like this webinar. I like the way the woman was talking." However, you're not gone back to your product development, gone back to your work and taken down notes. This is what I want to incorporate into my business. This is how I want to go about product research. This is how, even though I have an existing product, I would like to actually do product research. You can do product research even 10 years into your business. Product research, ask people what is it you like, which ones don't you like, which one should I focus my energy in, and go whole heart into it.
All right. Thank you very much, Ma. That would be for me a good place to end. I would hand over to Akwawo to just do the closing formalities. But for me, from me to you, here is my invitation again for for a follow up. I would like to distill more value from your experiences. Akwawo.
All right, so thank you very much, Mr. Idaosis, and also thank you very much, Mrs. Hackh. It's been a wonderful session for all of us, and to all those that join on with us since from the beginning of the session till now. Thank you for staying. We are going to do another of this by next week. It's going to be happening like again by next week. So thank you very much and do have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you.